Well, we got a long one. Might just make it a short one. You guys can figure out how to get a lot of clips and bolts out on your own. But yeah, got a Cadillac CTS4. Buddy picked it up real cheap. It does have a drill up here. 1500 bucks, 180,000 miles. Random crank, random cam, miss sensor. Probably do a lot of time lapse here. There's some other guys that got some videos that they go in depth, which is nice. But I'm just gonna try and do some hammering through here. So this guy's got to go. Probably supposed to have a bunch of nice fancy caddy plastics on here, but for 1,500 bucks, what do you want? Pulling the intake off, valve covers, hoses, power steering pump. Well, that's nice. Got Mobile One right on the cap for you. Intake box is going to come out. All the front accessories. So we're just gonna dig in, get at it here. First thing, gonna shine some light on the situation with the high base here. Get the hood off, throw that over against the wall, and we'll get switched over into taking all the bolts out and see how many we can lose. Here's what we got. Light shining on the situation, hood off. Over there in the corner, it is extremely light, by the way. Easily a one-man job. We're just taking some 10 mils out. This just kind of reefs out of the side of the intake plenum here. One bolt right up here for the air cleaner, and you can wiggle weasel that out. Loosen up your flathead over here, and now we're going to start taking off some 13 mils and random hoses and see if we can find an engine underneath here. Fuel line disconnect clip, slip it right in there. It's the best way to do that, or a Leatherman carefully like I did. Well, that was easy. Little clips back here. Pop this gray part, lighter gray part out. I usually push in, squeeze, and then pull. Pushing in just kind of loosens the whole deal up here. Yeah, we got some intake stuff happening here. Pretty oily, pretty dirty. I'm guessing they didn't do that at the factory. MW, whatever that means. Motor works. Get some new ones of these. Looks like we had some leaking going on through here. I'll give you some lean. If you're gonna do this, make sure that you are one of those dudes from Men in Black that can bend their knees backwards, because you're gonna be doing that the whole time and it sucks. But come on. Looking down the intakes here, pretty dirty, but that's how we like to run our cars now. Make them breathe their own exhaust. It's better for the environment. Holy sh... Why? They put a V8 in these things. Why wouldn't they just make that, I mean, a millimeter wider? That sucks. Anyways, off to the other side. Okay, here we go. Got the power steering pump pulley with a pulley pump puller. Pump pulley puller. It's this fancy dingus here. Worked pretty good. And then the harmonic balancer puller kit from O'Reilly's will say M6 by something 1 GM V6, which is these goofy ass bolts. Do not work. Had to go dig around in the snowmobile bucket and found some random metric bolts that I was able to get like one full thread started. Anyway, got that off. So now we're into the greasy bits here. And basically to a point where if you think you're gonna do this whole project, you could get here on your own. But now it's gonna start getting a little more tricky. So we gotta pull the sensors out, these ones here. Pull these sensors out because otherwise they get a little wonky in there. And then we're gonna start going around the outside here and pulling bolts out. Hopefully it just falls off. And now the squeamish audience should look away. Okay, well, I found a bolt that kind of goes in there. It's not the right pitch, so I just snugged it until I didn't want to snug it anymore. But I think a key discovery here is I found 2 bolts. Down here in the bottom underneath this very pristine.
Okay.
When you drop your light, you really want to try and punch everything that's sharp. To save your light from falling on the ground. Here's 2 more of the 40 bolts that came out. Oh, look at that. Yep, and then the best part is you got all this coolant that's running right down into your engine block, mixing with all your oil, getting moisture up into everything. So yeah, that's super handy. I'm sure there's a coolant drain on the back of the block somewhere, but I'm guessing if you're watching this video, you're probably not going to do that. You're just going to not start it with this oil in there and drain it, let it sit for a while and run it. All right, second day messing around here. Got a little further yesterday. Got the entire cover off if I didn't before. I got the timing gear on the crank marked and lined up at the secondary stage timing. And you got your pin divots here, and then to make sure that you are in the right phase, you have the flats at the back of the cam facing up, and then you know that you're set to take off this timing group. So then to get these all off, 10 millimeter, get your tensioners loose. Alright, so we got it rolled over here. Come on, light. The timing mark on the crank is at 5 o'clock, and that lines up with your dimple on the oil pump. And we have the flats of the cams facing up, and then we got our little triangle circle guys going on for the marks on top of our timing chain cam gears there. So same deal, we'll pull the primary chain and guides off, and then we'll go in there and take that off of the it's confusing, primary first stage, second stage. Anyway, we'll get the primary chain off, and then we'll come over here and we'll take the left side chain and guides off. When we're doing this, don't take this oil pump bolt apart. They're pretty tight tolerance oil pumps. You start messing with that and you could have some issues, so just leave that one alone. All right, well, there's everything off. Now is going to be a good time to get your razor blade or scraper, whatever you want to use, come through here, get this all cleaned up, get it all blown off. Stuff some towels down in here, try and keep as much gunk out of the oil pan as you can. Even though you're going to change the engine oil, you'd still like to keep some big debris out of there. So yeah, we'll get this cleaned up and then start going back into assembly here. All right, here we go back together. We got some new lower gears. When I took them out, I just set them on the corresponding sides. I'm fairly certain that you could be able to figure it out if you didn't do this where they go, because the chains aren't going to line up with the primary stages and all that good stuff there. But yeah, so we'll get these back into where they go. Do I still have the socket out? Yep. This is the new Milwaukee automatic torque wrench. Takes it to the perfect torque every time. You don't have to set it. You just turn it on and it knows. Beep! There you go. Just like that. Take your new chain. That in there. And these guys all lined up nicely. And then you get to start digging around for your... Alright, here's what I came up with because I did not pay attention to anything when I threw them on the floor. This one is straight cut, and because it needs to be recessed in here, that's the straight one. This other one's got quite the offset, so that'll go over here on this one, holding the chain, which is further out on the engine. And then these other ones were just kind of puzzle pieces that fit into place. So mainly those were the two that we had confused, but we got her now. So slide that in, throw it on the floor first. This portion of the video brought to you by an incoherent, inappropriate slew of words that are usually taught to you by your father, grandfather, or uncle. Not really much to differentiate, or it's not very hard to tell the two apart, because this one just won't go in that way, the way the bolt holes are and the angle of the dangle. So that's pretty obvious. We'll get these ran in. Oh, son of a... Alright, got the other chain tensioner installed there. Chain guide, I guess, be the proper term. So I got the chains all snugged up here. We got our letter L facing up in. I still don't understand, we got circles and triangles, and then there's extra circles with more triangles, but important part, flats of the cams are up. I'm going to spin it over here, getting it back into the secondary portion of timing. Got my marks lined up. I'm going to spin her just a little bit, get her back over into phase 2. And that should be about like so. I'm gonna have to take the fancy mechanics mirror here. Get a view of what's going on. Yeah. So then I got my marks lined up down there. And then we'll just throw this chain on. Just set the camera down like so. I got my chain marked.
between that one Alright, got chain on, got some Loctite on the bolt. Try and get that wadded up as best you can. And then it falls down anyway. Torque wrench at 18 foot-pounds. And now that you got that tight, that in, you can't get the chain loose. And making sure that you got the bottom of the hole lined up with your painted portion of the chain. "18 foot-pounds exactly. Then you get your oil pressurized chain tensioner with those really nice rubber retention, so you can't just push them in. Alright, make sure you got your gasket in there. Get this guy spun in the right direction, that'd be super handy. Get your hammer to get the socket off, and then drop it on the floor. Alright, got my keeper tightened up here. All my marks and extra paint marks, so that's not confusing at all. But I think it's time to pull grenade pins and see if it blows up. Shouldn't, hopefully. But there's the keepers. So then, since we're being cheap, we got mono seal fuel resistant, ideal for case halves. Permatex gasket maker. Gonna glue it on here on the outside perimeter. Hammer that back together. Get the case on. Get all the accessories. The phase time sensors. I'll probably throw on a time lapse, and hopefully we can get her fired up from there. Put together here last night, going for the first startup this morning. See if the battery's charged though. Well, there you have it. About a 9-hour project all in. $300 and a $1,500 car. She's getting warmed up now, getting everything going on. I'd like to know what this is though. I'm gonna have to look that up in a minute here, because that's what's clicking. And that's real annoying. I'm assuming it's coolant into the intake, but anyway, yeah, she's sitting here purring, winds right up. forgot my computer at home, so I have to bring that up, get the clothes cleared off. But yeah, quick and dirty. It's a $1,500 car. That's, you know, you used to think, oh, you know, it's an 87 Chevette was a $1,500 car, but well, those are like $3,000 now. But yeah, it's an 08 Caddy. Gonna have 2,000 bucks all in it. Got some cleanups to do. Fix the bumper. It's got some nice zip tie-in going on here. I don't know. Got some road rash here and there, cracked bumpers, but again, 2,000 bucks all in. This is what you got. So yeah, nice headlight too. Hack job. Got her done though. See ya.